You might be asking yourself, what is FLLA? What are language analytic abilities? And how will any of this help me with my Spanish? Let me quickly explain. FLLA stands for Foreign Language Learning Aptitude. It's just a measure of how fast and how easily you can learn another language. Ever met someone with a talent for languages? That talent was a high level of FLLA. FLLA actually consists of three main groups of abilities: phonological, memory, and language analytic abilities. Let's look at each of these quickly. Phonological abilities are how you hear the sounds in the language, distinguish between different sounds, and turn them into meaningful parts of a language. When you first heard Spanish in your class, it probably just sounded like noise. But then you started to hear the different sounds. Then the sounds started to fit together, and you could hear words and even phrases. These abilities are really important. When learning a language, you need to hear it and understand it before you can use it. The better your phonological abilities, the easier and faster you can do this. Memory abilities are exactly what they sound like. It's all the things you do to remember. Some of the different types of memory that you use in language learning are short-term memory, working memory, and long-term memory. To try and remember things in the short term, you can just repeat them without thinking about it. When you want to analyze something, you need to hold the information in your memory and process it at the same time. Then, in the long term, you also need to be able to recall what you were thinking about before. I think we can all agree that people with better memory abilities are going to have a huge advantage in language learning. Finally, language analytic abilities. Again, these are pretty much what they sound like. How well you can analyze language, to crack the code, and then find the patterns. There are two skills here: inductive language learning and grammatical sensitivity. Inductive language learning is where you can look at the input and start to see patterns yourself without being told the rules beforehand. Grammatical sensitivity is seeing the functions of words in sentences, like verbs. Good language analytic abilities have two main advantages. First, learning grammar becomes easier, and you can make up your own rules that work instead of memorizing a textbook. Second, they can help you remember things more easily. For example, learning a single rule about how to use verbs like gustar is easier than remembering examples for all the verbs like encantar, importar, interesar, quedar, etc. So that's it. FLLA is about speed and ease of language learning. It consists of phonological, memory, and language analytic abilities. The better these abilities, the easier language learning becomes for you. And not just in Spanish, but in any language.
Powered by Video.